I'm a big Star Wars fan, if you don't know. I did watch every single season 1 episode. I put it in a playlist if you want to see my review of every single episode, start to finish, all the way from. And I'm planning on doing a series where I do every single review of every single episode of Star Wars content, starting with season 1, going all the way to season 7 of Star Wars The Clone Wars. Now, with all that being said, let's get into the video. So, Clone Wars season 1. How would I rank this? Or what are my thoughts and opinions after watching it for the first time in a very long time? Released in 2008, gotta give it some slack for its low-level anime, or not low-level, but low-quality animation earlier on. One thing I will say about Season 1, The Clone Wars, every episode felt like it was getting better. Alright? Almost every episode, I was like, damn, something about this episode is just, like, slightly better than the last one. Even if the overall plot or the overall, like, theme wasn't, like, my cup of tea, like, the snow planet wasn't really my cup of tea, but, like, narratively and graphically, like, you start picking up on a lot of little things. And that's what I'll say about the Clone Wars. It is the master at, like, little things that, like, just set the mood in the show, you know? Sometimes it's slightly too much, but most of the time it's like, okay, they're, you know, we're getting a little goofy now, a little lighter tone here, you know, or like these characters are in the know here, you know, or it's really good at setting a tone of like where this episode is headed, you know, and I like those little things. Star Wars has missed a lot of just those little nods, like Obi-Wan and Anakin arguing about a battle they had on a different planet, and like, oh, just like that time on this place, and you know, earlier in the episodes, like when Dooku gets captured and stuff like that. A lot of references, a lot of like them just silently, or not silently, but like kind of shitting on each other without really being direct. You know what I mean? Like very subtle things, you know, and I really appreciate that about the show. Or subtle moments where it's like, when Dooku gets captured and Obi-Wan and Anakin show up, and you know they're drinking out of the cups, but they know it's been spiked because they're at a place they haven't been before, so they use the Force to swap out the drinks, but then they still end up getting drugged, you know? Just like moments like that, where it's just like subtle goofiness that ends up not really affecting the main results, so the goofiness doesn't like outweigh what happened, you know? A lot of the times in current modern media, we see a lot of the times a joke happens, and then villain gets squashed by funny, goofy way. And the Clone Wars, it's very much funny, goofy, villain shows up, deal with villain, now we joke about beating the villain, you know? And I really appreciate that, you know? It's very classic. You know, Clone Wars, one of my favorite shows of all time, just from memory. So that's why I'm going through all of these, and I'm going to review all of them. Just talking about Season 1, though, almost every episode had a brand new commander. Love that idea. Love that concept. Or not commander, but like a custom clone armor. Absolutely sick, you know? And there's even some Clone Wars stuff that like I'd like to see in Lego as a Lego fan, you know? Looking at you, Snow Planet Rex, alright? You know? I'd love to get a Lego, you know, Captain Rex wearing the snow outfit. Just saying, you know? I think it was episode, what, 16, 17? Can't remember exactly, but great episodes, you know, great fucking episodes. Like, not 10 out of 10 across the board. Rookies, obviously, gave a 10 out of 10. Grievous Lair, where this scene is, obviously a 10 out of 10. Now, I will say, my only thing that I didn't like is that some of the episodes did age very poorly. And when I say some, I do mean like 2, maybe 3. All right. More notably, the Asajj Ventress versus Ahsoka and the Jedi Master, which I can't remember her name, Unduli, maybe? Fuck, I think it's Unduli. The one that wears like that flat hat and that has the freckles, can't remember her name. I really hope I got that right. Fuck. Damn it, I can't remember it. But, or is Unduli the Twi'lek? I can't remember anymore. But, regardless, I thought that episode kind of aged not so well, just because of the Senate Commando. First time we get to see a Senate guard's face, and he ends up being a villain. It's just like, it's kind of just like doesn't really fit that well. Another episode I thought was pretty mid was like the episode, with R2-D2 fighting the rogue astromech R3, I think the name was. Yeah, that one was just like kind of mid. That whole arc was kind of mid just because of like the dialogue that was used, really. You know, you had Anakin calling Ahsoka a name that you would refer to a partner with. It's like, yeah, she's 16, you know, give it a few seasons, you know what I mean? But, yeah, just a few moments that weren't the greatest. But overall, most episodes I gave anywhere from a 7 to an 8 out of 10 because all of them are very good to watch. Yes, some have very cringy moments, and some have moments where you're just like, it's a little, you know, you guys are being a little too goofy about this situation. But overall, I'd still recommend season 1 being a rewatch. I probably wouldn't recommend rewatching the whole season. Just nitpick a few episodes because, while they do have arcs, typically 1 or 2 episodes will be an arc, and then everything else doesn't really relate. Some do, but it's not really that important. Some missed opportunities. Now, the writing for all the episodes didn't feel too in-depth. They felt very basic, very, like, simple to understand, and I think that's obviously because it's a targeted towards kid audience, so I think it makes sense in that way. But I think season 1 as a whole, I'm going to give it a solid 7 out of 10. The peak moments were pretty much purely based off nostalgia. Graphically, I do think the series slowly got better and better and better as episodes progressed. The audio quality was getting slightly better, you know, not in terms of just like the voice acting, but in terms of, you know, you had pretty interesting moments where it's like Mace Windu, dead silence, fucking jumps off a bridge, you think he might fall off, and then he grabs a droid's vehicle, and then he flies that one into the other one. Like, cool moments like that where like audio cuts off and they really have a picture for what they want to depict in the moment, you know? And that's what I can appreciate, you know? A lot of interesting concepts in terms of the General Grievous's lair was probably the most notable. You know, seeing what clones are like when they're assigned to their first job, like on Rookies, phenomenal. You know, you got to see a clone go rogue. You know, I think it was Slick. I can't remember what episode it's called, but Slick went rogue. You got to see how clones would handle that, and they have like undying loyalty towards the Republic. Stuff like that, man. You know, you got a good showcase of Ventress, you got a good showcase of Grievous, you got a good showcase of how Anakin and Ahsoka are by the end of it, and you got a great showcase of the GOAT Cad Bane, baby. His debut in the final episode definitely was a nice cherry on top. Now, without the Cad Bane introduction, obviously I'd still rate it the same. Cad Bane is just, oh, that episode's so good, you know? There's something that's just about, like, watching a villain walk into a already established environment in your head, and he just, like, in your mind, it's like, okay, this is the highest guarded area in the entire Coruscant, you know? So they're going to be very meticulous about this. It's going to be hard to break in. And then Cad Bane just rolls up with the squad, absolutely dominates everyone in the main entrance, tricks the voice commander using a commando droid to mimic the voice, gets in there, blows up the rooms where they're all huddled in for break time. Like, it's just boom, boom, boom. You know, it's just classic, great visuals as a fan, you know? Great showcase of the characters. You even got Aura Singh. I remember the name, baby. The white skinned lady who has like that weird ponytail going on. It's like a brown pony. I don't fucking know, bro. I don't know. And then you had the fish boy. You had you know, assassin droids, stuff like that. You had really cool moments in the franchise or in the season. I don't think any of them were bad. Aside from maybe the Doctor's one. I didn't like the Phantom, the Blue Shadow virus, I think it was called. Not a fan of that. I mean, we got female Gungan, so, you know, Rule 34. Have some fun. Hey, you know? But, hey, I'm just saying. Okay, I'm not going to go too far here. But, you know. Yeah, it was not a great arc, I would say. Just aged kind of poorly. Visually, just didn't look that great. German mad scientist is one of the most generic villains I've ever seen in any form of media. Yeah, it just wasn't that great, you know, visually, not that fun. We got to see the Bomb Squad troopers, which was good. Every episode had some redeeming quality, but there were definitely some that didn't do as well as the others, and I rated them accordingly. But I do think season 1, while it's not the best season, I think, is a solid season to rewatch, even just for that nostalgia value. You get to see Commander Bly, you get to see Commander Gree, you get to see a bunch of different Jedi. There's really cool space combat. You get to see, what's it called? The Malevolence, the one that shoots out the beam and kills everyone. You get to see Plo Koon and the Wolf Squad. There's good moments in this season, and anyone saying this season is objectively bad as a whole, I think, is just not a Star Wars fan. And hey, if you're not a Star Wars fan, fair enough. But if you do like anything about the Star Wars, lightsaber duels, clone battles like me, space battles like me, hey, Season 1 is still worth watching to this day. Aged fairly fairly... It aged well, alright? It aged very well, considering. Did come out in 2008, and I'm currently sitting in 2024. You know, maybe things change in 2030, but this video will forever be on the internet to remember that. But yeah, with all that being said, just want to get my thoughts and opinions on Season 1. Gonna be continuing with Season 2. I'm giving a little bit of a break. I might watch a few of the movies just to bang them out. But do want to give it a little bit of break, soak it in, get the episodes in the brain, let it mush around for a little bit and see how it ages over time. You know, I don't want to be stuck in honeymoon phase being like, man, this episode was fucking flawless. There was nothing wrong with it. No, I want to be able to be like, oh yeah, well, there was that weird one moment, you know? I want to be fairly objective when I'm making my reviews. But with all that being said, I want to thank you for watching. And as always, I hope you have a good day.